I'd like to call the Tuesday, December 22nd Board of Education special meeting to order at 7:01 p.m. Roll call.
Chairman Papaholzer.
Here.
Vice Chair Candelora.
Here.
Secretary Sienna.
Here.
Deanna Balsamo.
Here.
Vincent Mace.
Here.
Marcy Anafrio.
Here.
Cynthia Rice.
Can we salute the flag?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are we getting any visitors and press through Facebook or Totucket TV, or how do we get questions, comments?
Through Tutucket TV, if they're coming. It's not live yet.
It's not on that?
So we'll have to wait.
Okay.
When they queue up, we'll just go to Bruce. If you could just notify us if anything comes in.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
There's no student representatives. Approval of previous minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the November 19th, 2020 Board of Education meeting as submitted. Second.
Discussion? Mary, roll call?
Chairman Papaholzer.
Yes?
Vice Chair Candelora.
Yes.
Secretary Sienna.
Yes.
Deanna Balsamo.
Yes.
Vincent Mace.
Yes.
Marcy Anafrio.
Yes.
Personnel, we will do in executive session.
There's a leave for executive session.
Superintendent's report.
We do have one leave that we'll discuss during
Yep.
executive session. Okay, thank you. Under donations, I was notified yesterday by Deputy Chief Lovelace that a community member had donated 3 bicycles. I really don't need to share this, but I think with the Christmas spirit, it's awesome. He sent the picture over. I was able to contact Beth Parker. The police delivered the bicycles to Jerome today for 3 students for Christmas. So we're really thankful to the North American Police Department and for thinking of us, and for that person that donated those bikes. And honestly, we thank you. So we'll have 3 very happy children
Nice.
in a couple days. So communications are attached. You've had a chance to look through those. The administrators are on Zoom tonight. If there's any questions for them, you can ask them specifically. If not, I'll just get you up to date on our COVID. As you know, we had a snow day last week on Thursday, which we used as a remote learning day. I spoke with John Florio on Friday and Fran Marola, and they were really behind on cleanup because of the amount of snow, so we decided to do remote again on Friday as an actual school day. This week we're in 2.5 days. Tomorrow is a half day, which are obviously all remote. We notified the board several weeks ago. So that being said, our date to return is January 4th. Our plan is to return for live instruction. We've been steadfast in starting school with live instruction. Our staff, our administrators have done an amazing job keeping our buildings open. Our nursing staff, our assistants, when we do have cases in the school, they have worked diligently. This rolls into the weekend when we get positive cases for students and staff. It takes a lot of time with our process of contact tracing to make sure that we're doing it with fidelity. And I just want to acknowledge the team effort and what it's taken to stay open and to get us to this point in the year. We're excited to start back in January. We think we're going to have an influx of students coming back that have been on remote. Maybe not that first week. We think in the second week or shortly after. Many of the students that are on remote will be back with us. We had a live Zoom meeting today with the surrounding towns for the vaccination. Phase 1 is going to start next week. Our nursing staff will get vaccinated as early as next week. The phase 2 will be for school board personnel, teachers, administrators, paraprofessionals, anyone who works directly with students in the school system, and we're thinking by the third week in January.
Cafeteria workers too.
Yeah, anyone in the school.
Anyone direct-
Anyone that
direct
actually
touch
works and
students.
comes in contact with children, yeah. We are gonna look to use the high school on a half-day Wednesday as a site for our vaccinations. We'll work with East Shore Health, a medical team there. We are gonna use the Moderna vaccine. We will not be using the Pfizer. We're getting the first round of Moderna when it comes out. So that's the update. We're excited about that. We pre-screened our staff. About 60% felt that they would participate in it. We think that's going to increase because that will be 3 weeks into people getting the vaccine. Moderna is supposed to have limited side effects in comparison with Pfizer. That's what they were telling us today with the CDC, that especially if you are predisposed to allergies, the Moderna strain doesn't have the same impact as the Pfizer. So I'll keep you informed on that.
I'm sorry, when did you say this was gonna be? January, the middle of January?
Middle of January for the phase 2, as early as next week for phase 1 for emergency responders, first responders, and for our nursing staff. They have to be vaccinated in order to give the vaccine to our staff. That was one of the criteria.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
Is there any type of a mandate? I know that they're trying to put a mandate on employers that all employees have to get the vaccine. Has anything come down from the state about the school?
No, that we cannot mandate. If you decide that you do not want to take the vaccination, that's your right to not take it, and we have to keep you employed. Same with, if it came to students, we're not there if you're under 16, but.
Okay. We're going to have a list of those who don't take it so that we know if there's an outbreak of some kind, we know kind of where.
Yeah, I mean, we're very sensitive with all of the regulations that we have to follow for confidentiality and things like that. So anytime we have a case, our nursing staff with our building principals through my office with East Shore Health, we know and we will know because we have to do a database. When you go to sign in to get the vaccination, you're putting all your information there. It's a national database. And you get a card that you have had the vaccine.
Okay, I'm just curious as to where we stand as a board of ed to know that whether or not the governor put a mandate on.
He can't now, Ben. I was actually
I
looking
would
into this because
not be-
I know that nurses, social workers, first line, and it usually get mandated, like for the flu shot, for instance, which this is similar to. And they can't mandate this yet because it hasn't passed all of the FDA criteria.
Right.
And I'm not clear on where that level is, but from my understanding of this brief article that I read, it has to be approved for at a certain level to be able to mandate it. Something similar to the flu shot. So you might want to I know you're an attorney, so like you could look in that direction.
I'm not looking at it as an attorney.
No, but I'm saying,
No.
for the mandate piece of it, it has to do with the level of FDA approval on it before you can mandate.
What I'm looking at is kind of, employees taking, just like the mask.
Yeah.
I don't want to wear the mask or this or that because I have a medical condition or something.
You'll
I'm just looking at,
still be
okay,
required, even with getting the vaccine, still 6 feet distance and the mask.
I know.
You have to do that. And it's my understanding, this is going to be 28 days between the first vaccination and the second, and that it's a 3-month window after before anything can happen because it was a fast-track vaccination. So that is what they were sharing today with that timeline, and because that was the question when we're getting these cards, is that what's going to be the norm for travel, for, going over the state border, going into another state? Could we possibly get to that where they're giving us these federal cards that you're registered with, which I have a problem with, but off the record.
We're all like this.
Yeah, so I have a real problem.
Policy that teachers have to notify you that they're traveling out of state for the holiday season?
We encourage them to because of the 2-week quarantine.
Right.
Does everyone follow those guidelines? I'm not going to answer that.
Okay.
So, but we put letters out to all staff around the holiday, please be, and we attach the state guidelines for travel. The CARES Act ends December 31st.
Right.
So anything after December 31st for reimbursable for being out with quarantine, earning 2/3 of your time for 14 days, that all goes away. So people could potentially put themselves in a situation where if they're out of work because of a quarantine, because they violated the state rule, they're not paid. we're not there yet, it's not December
Right.
31st, and that, I'm hoping that we're not gonna have to deal with those type of situations.
Well, Scott, is East Shore looking at vaccinations for the rest of the community after the school boards?
After the second phase, there's a whole timeline of how that will flow. I guess there's two more research development vaccinations that are going to be coming out in the short term after Moderna and Pfizer. When that happens, then they'll start with a more aggressive, and they'll look to use our facility to do that. So we're looking at, and I really, my preference would be on the weekends with no students there, and on a Wednesday night where we can sanitize and do everything and not have anyone in those buildings while we're doing vaccinations
Yeah.
or testing. I don't even want kids in the school when we're testing.
No, I agree with you on that. That's why I was asking
Yeah.
if we're gonna be, when we open it up to the community, are they gonna be using the schools in any
Yeah.
way, shape, or form for that?
This would be an ideal place.
Yeah, this would be
With the
better.
far end, the senior center not being used, we have 2 access and exit points here, and we have the gymnasium. So we really tried to push that as the spot in North Branford that we'd be very comfortable with.
Okay.
I have one more thing I'd like to address. Now that we have this variant virus coming out of England, has the educational system in Connecticut addressed with the school systems that what the possibility could be with this variant? Because it has a 70% transmission rate faster than the coronavirus.
So-
Have you received any information?
So what we have heard, yes, is that
Okay.
it is more infectious and it's a quicker spread.
Right.
The vaccination will work for this new strain,
Okay.
so we're okay there. It's just going to be continuing with mask, distance, everything that we're doing now, and just playing it, when it gets out of Europe and starts to make its way around the world, what's going to happen.
Okay.
So we are aware of it, and good, okay. Finance report.
Okay. Everybody has a finance report in front of them. Just to update you on the search for a financial system. The town and the district had a demonstration on December 9th with a software called Edmunds. And we're scheduled for 2 more demonstrations, one on January 5th, which will be with Infinite Visions, and one on January 6th, which will be a demonstration of Munis. So that's moving along nicely. The audit for 1920 is complete. The town is working with the auditors on their final report. I was able to certify the EFS report with the state, which is the large financial report that is compiled over the summer and consists of all 1920 expenditures. There were no audit changes required, so the auditors gave me the go-ahead to go ahead and certify that. So that has been done. In regard to the current budget, we do have the need to replace a hot water heater over at Totucket. It's going to be replaced hopefully next week by Mr. Florio. He was able to actually save quite a bit on the cost of it by reducing the size of the tank, because it is a newer piece of equipment. Things are more efficient and didn't have to be as big as it was, when originally put in. And so that is a little in excess of $13,000, and we're going to charge that to Fund 25.
Yeah, can you just point out where that fund is in one of these pages? Because
Sure.
I see a whole bunch of 25.
Yep. So that is it's a 3-page report,
Yep.
and it's going to, you don't see it here yet because we actually just got the quote, but it will be charged to a line on the first page, little more than halfway down. It says Building Improvement TBES, and that's.
Okay, building improvement facilities? No.
Building Improvement TBES. And that's where we'll charge it. It's on the very first page.
Okay, well, my first page doesn't have that.
It's a 3-page report.
Yeah, I have 3 numbers on the first page. I only have 2 pages with a line 25 on it.
I think I only have 2 pages. We only have 2 pages. I think that's,
There should be one.
oh, another, okay. That, I'm looking at
Oh,
one.
there it
That's
is, okay.
Sorry, there's 2 reports.
Okay.
So, I see it now.
Yep, so that's where it will be charged. We just got the
I'm picking up.
quote, and so it's in the process of being put in the
Yes,
system now as a
it's like a little bit more than-
requisition.
All right, so that adjusted budget of $5,000.
Yeah, so we're going
That's
to,
gone.
we'll move the money around. There's a little disclaimer up at the top that these were set up just to give you an idea of where the money could go, and most importantly, so that you could see the balance in the fund and how much was expended.
So where does the other 8,000 and change come from?
So we're just going to transfer between these lines. These are really all set up as an example. And as we move them, as we need the money, we'll place it in the funds, in the particular lines where we need it.
So next month, we'll see a minus 8,000 change from one fund and a plus 8,000 change to this fund, is that it?
Yes, yeah. But if you go to the second page, you'll see the total for Fund 25 is 643.
Right, I see that.
Right, and then something new this month, if you turn to page 3, you'll see a whole new set of account numbers. They
Yeah.
all end in 178. This
Yes.
is the $301,000 that the town allowed you to carry over from 17-18. So now you can track that as well.
Okay.
And again, these account numbers were just set up as an example,
Yep.
most importantly, so that you could see the balance and what we're spending it on.
Okay, yeah. Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So overall, the general fund budget is in very good shape, looking towards June. You will see on the general fund report, there is an object 121 for substitutes. Currently, that is projected right now about 58,000 over. But that's simply because we've encumbered all of our long-term subs that are currently in place, so that could change. But either way, the budget is still in very good shape.
So I
Also,
have just a question. So
Yeah.
teachers who are going out due to illness or whatever it is, we substitute them,
yes,
okay? So the substitution fund right now is over $58,000 overdrawn from what the budget was at the beginning of the year, all right? And this is going to reflect in the unemployment that you're about to read, is that it?
no.
No.
So the unemployment right now still has a very high encumbrance. Quite honestly, I don't think we're going to need what that encumbrance is reflected at. But I'm leaving it to be safe, and because the state is
Right.
2 to 3 months behind in their charging of unemployment still to us. So I want to leave it there as a safety.
Yeah.
And then once we get a little further into the year, we can always adjust that encumbrance.
Does the stimulus package that they may be signing today, would that affect this here unemployment?
If we have employees out on it,
We'll
we'll
get
sure.
reimbursed, or how does it work with us?
I haven't seen any reimbursement on unemployment.
Okay.
But because we had so very few staff out on unemployment, because we kept everybody on the payroll, with just a few exceptions such as daily subs, there really weren't too many unemployment claims that we needed to worry about because of COVID.
Okay.
And of course, because we're in the winter months, we're keeping a close eye on our gas, our oil, and our electricity, because these are the most volatile months for those expenditures.
I think oil just went up a little bit.
What's that?
I think oil just went up a little bit.
Oh, did it?
I just got my tank filled today.
Oh.
It's winter time.
Yeah, not very
This is
high,
Monday.
but like it just went, like
This is
I
Monday,
noticed
really.
a few cents, when you're getting a lot of oil,
Yes,
you notice
yes.
10 cents.
Yeah.
And we've already started the work on the budget development for 21-22. Administrators are putting together their budgets now, and we'll have that to you in a couple of months.
Can't wait.
Okay, any questions for Martha? Okay, under town manager, I want to thank Shauna, Marcy, and Jana for serving on the selection committee for the North Branford High School project. We concluded last evening with QA&M being the recommended firm to continue on in the process. We've worked with Q&M on the feasibility study. They were the unanimous choice by the committee, which was comprised of 3 council members and 3 board members, with Michael Pauls, myself, and Michelle Knockwood sitting in. And outside of the board in the town, Franny Marola also served on that committee. And it was a 7-0 vote for QA&M. So they were notified today. They were excited to be continuing in this process and look forward to meeting with us. A little further down, there's an update on the high school renovation. I'm going to kind of roll right into that. But
I think it's going to be officially voted on January 5th.
It's January 5th is the official vote that will be presented to the town council.
Do we have access to what their fee is?
What their fee is?
Yeah.
It's for the architectural firm?
Yeah.
It's $2,500,000, and there's a $50,000 swing that they reduced their original bid from. So they came down from their original bid price at the request of the committee, which QA&M accepted. So it's just over $2,500,000 for that. Okay.
I don't remember the exact number.
They had made some changes in their design. We were able to go through a 3-dimensional walkthrough of the building. And in this second drawing, they left the bridge connected to the new building. And I really like that when he explained it last evening with school safety and inclement weather, for the ability to move between the auditorium and the high school and not have to go outside. It really made a lot of sense, and it really blended in with the brickwork, with the design of the building. The back side of the building gave us additional parking, and they put another playing field back there, because we're going to be staging on one field. So they added another practice field, and that was all encumbered in the original cost of the project, so it wouldn't add additional cost. So they continued to work hard in kind of meeting what we thought was important as a district, with knowing our town, knowing our students, knowing playing space and things that are important to us. So it was a great process. I want to commend the other 3 firms. I think they did a really nice job, and were very professional, and the committee just felt very comfortable with QA&M.
And Scott, keeping that attached doesn't mess up any money we would get from the state?
So, good question.
Yeah.
So the next part, we're going to, after January 5th, the meeting will be to meet with the state and present that it's only being used for kids going into the auditorium and back. So we're going to present to the state, and we think the state will be flexible with us.
So it's not state, so, okay.
For the safety, as part of the whole
So we're waiting on the
process.
state for that then,
Yeah.
before that's a go?
Yeah,
Okay.
and we're hoping to get the meeting with the state around mid-January. That's the goal. We want to really move on this because we're on a tight timeline.
Yeah.
So that's the hope. So, and that's
Gotta
the,
make sure we get all the money we can.
oh yeah, absolutely.
That was a priority of theirs, that was very much on their mind, to make
Yes.
sure that we get every, penny that we
Yeah.
can possibly get.
Are you all set for all these meetings, Beth?
It's gonna be more than what I already just did every week.
Yeah,
You might.
okay, so that's the update on the project, and we'll obviously keep everyone updated as we move into January. Committee reports. You have a motion in front of you for the cafeteria workers. The summary of the settlement, I think, is attached. Oh, we shared with the board last one. November we did that. We just need to be voted on.
Then I'll make a motion to approve the contract between the North Branford Board of Education and Local 1303-382 of Connecticut Council Number 4, AFSCME AFL-CIO, cafeteria workers for the period July 1, 2020 through June 30th, 2023.
I'll second.
Discussion?
I have a question. If there's a wage increase, is that retroactive to July 1st of 2020? Yeah, okay.
Mary, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Of course.
Chairman Papaholter,
Yes.
Vice Chair Candelora,
Yes.
Secretary Sienna,
Yes.
Dana Balsamo,
Yes?
Vincent Mace,
Yes.
Marcy Nafrio,
Yes.
Okay, curriculum instruction did not meet this evening. Pension,
We actually had one.
You had a pension meeting?
Yeah, on December 9th. It was supposed to be in November, but they canceled it. And just a couple of highlights. They expect the market to contract in January, February 2021, and they want to position into the large cap stocks in the US and Europe. That's kind of the gist of it.
That's it?
That's it.
All right. Policy?
there's an update on the top of that sheet that you can read.
Oh,
Thank you.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, last time we talked about some policies that had the case number name on it, and we talked about just doing, keeping the names off, just doing the position. And I concentrated on Don because he no longer works here. But Anna went through, she talked to the Kate, and that we don't really have to vote on it, just that there's going to be changes made because of this to reflect the changes, just to remove the names of personnel only. So now they just list positions, address, and phone numbers.
Oh, nice.
And so there's 5 of them. Anna, the suggestion was also to take Susan Wright's name off. I wasn't thinking about her because she's still here.
But still, that
but it
way
makes
uniform.
sense.
So I thank Anna for that. So policy 800, policy 1005, non-discrimination of students, policy 1040, free school accommodations, policy 2210, non-discrimination personnel, and policy 2020, non-discrimination compliance, section 504. So we don't have to vote on it, just that it will be corrected. It will no
Nice.
longer have a person's name, just a position.
Jim, did ASIC have anything?
Yes, and I had notes on the meeting, which I promptly forgot at home. So I'm just going to try to remember some of the highlights. December is the holiday time, and they normally have students come in who have won their holiday artwork cards. So they have a competition every year. Kids from different schools are giving, they put in their artwork, and ECA votes on it, and then the winners will go into, they'll make note cards out of their artwork. So because usually the kids come in and we get to meet them, and they get to have lunch, and they get to see the presentation. COVID, we couldn't do that, so they did a nice presentation on the computer, so we got to see the kids' artwork, picture of the kids, and it was very nice. They gave us our cards and our shirts. The board gets shirts with the winning card for the shirt on it, so it was very nice. We got that mailed to us. So it was sad that we didn't get to meet the kids and talk to them, but they did do a nice presentation. The audit was on track. Last year we had some problems with getting it in a timely fashion. This year it's on track. And I think we had a surplus this year. And I mentioned previously that they were offered a retirement package to try to encourage some retirements. They decided to open it up to another group of the first was to teachers, and they opened it up to another group of contractual workers. And I think that was about it, the highlights I can remember. Sorry. My memory's not the best, and yes, so.
There's no building committee. We didn't have a communications committee. Why don't we do any visitors and press and go to the board now, and then we'll adjourn to the executive session? Okay. Are there any visitors and press, Bruce?
There are not.
Okay,
We have 8 followers and no comments.
okay.
Only 8 followers, everybody's busy doing Christmas stuff.
Good of the board?
I'd like to say something. I certainly want to thank whoever put that video together, that did the Christmas story.
That was adorable, right?
Judy Bannon,
Yeah.
Jerome Harrison School.
And again,
It was fantastic.
I was water-eyed with the things that we did and the participation from the Board of Ed and all the other people who participated. So for those of you out there, please watch that video. It's really, really nice that our community has come together to celebrate the holidays during this time. So I want to say that.
It's going to go viral tomorrow because it's going to every family that has children in North Branford and to every staff member, so over 2,000 people.
Good.
So if your phone starts ringing with talent agents, don't forget about us, Vince.
I don't like watching myself on TV.
And I want to thank Judy Bannon for including us, that was fun.
Yeah.
That was really nice to be
Great.
included.
Vince, Netflix is gonna call, they want you to do voiceover.
Yeah. So sure.
Or Hallmark.
It was really a nice thing that we all did.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it very much.
Also, the tree lighting ceremony for December, there was a drive-through, and there was a couple of kids at the high school that, I don't know what group it was, but I know that they were in the high school and they were part of putting it together, and that was really cool, just seeing
Good.
them. You know, it had like the Rotary there, it had different churches, it was just a really, can't even think of everybody that was on there, but then there were certain groups too from the high school that was there too, so that was just really awesome seeing the whole community come together. I wasn't even planning on going and got a phone call that I had to go to see it because it was pretty amazing. So for a little town, we do good.
Yeah, it's very nice.
For a little
Great.
town, we do good.
Can I just say?
Absolutely.
Some kids, I know we're not doing snow days, but because it was so much snow, it was asked of me if possibly, if we have another snow day, could they have just a,
Shortened day.
yeah, so they get to play.
I'll bring it up with Santa. Because believe me,
But I'm.
Santa's helper.
Some of the kids didn't
Yeah.
make it back for Zoom in time because
Right.
they were still in the snow.
So I think that for next meeting, we can talk about the calendar and building
Yeah.
in snow days. I brought it up to Scott a little bit earlier
We're
today.
meeting with ACES now and we're starting to gather all of the.
That's another thing we approved the calendar. You have to have the ACES approved calendar, and then you can do what you want. You don't have to follow it, but we have to approve a calendar, and we did do that, so yes.
Yes, so we actually called ACES, so we're looking to do that in January, good cue. So we'll get all of the start end dates and everything, and we can work in a few snow days if we want to do that for next year. But I do have the flexibility of condensing a day. The snow day, and we can have that conversation.
Yeah, and we're gonna
Do you
put
know
that
what
on
the
the
thought is
agenda.
going forward on that? I don't know if we can mention this now or put it in for next month, because I had a parent that reached out to me, and their thing is they're missing a lot of work because of the COVID, and the kids are quarantined, and then with the snow days, it's really hard because they can't just send their kids off to like a grandmother's house if it's online learning, so they're missing even more days at work. Because they need to be home on top of it all. So I wasn't sure if there was a direction, or if we can even talk about it now or put it
Well,
on the
I
agenda for
can't-
next month.
I can't predict the weather, as good as I am.
Right, but I'm saying,
We were given, the state gave us the opportunity to shorten our length to 177 days and then to use snow days as remote days.
so I guess that's my question is, where
So-
are you looking to go forward from here? Are you looking to do it strictly remotely, or are you looking to do snow days? So parents can plan, if there's a snow day, okay, they
I'd
can
like
go to
to-
grandma's, if it's remote, they can't, and I have to miss work.
If I know in advance that it's a significant storm, it has to be a significant storm for us to do that, because I'll go anything that I possibly can to get the kids there safely. So if I have to do a 2-hour delay, I'm gonna bring the kids in. We hadn't had a snowstorm like that in several years.
Right.
We didn't have a snow day last year. So the predictability is very unpredictable.
But like
So-
going forward, I guess, what is your angle? Is your angle to have the kids stay home, or is the angle to on-school? That's my question. Is it
No,
gonna
I
be a
want
snow
to
day
use
where they're-
remote learning as much as I can. If I
Okay.
can't get the kids in safely, I made it very clear from the get-go. I want kids in school. We have been one of in the forefront leaders with getting kids to school. We'll continue to do that when it's safe, but when I have a situation where we can't get them in safely, and I can maybe tweak a day to get them a little snow time and a half day if I possibly can do that.
So it's all gonna be
But-
remote, we won't have snow days that are
But
tagged on to the
I'm
end of the
not
year?
looking to tag on a lot of snow days.
Okay,
I don't think
that was
that's
my
really-
question.
No.
I don't think that that would be a great idea for this year anyways, especially with the new high school, you know what I mean? I think we're looking to capitalize
Well,
on
I just,
summer.
like I said, I just
And
had a
we're-
parent reach out to me,
Yeah.
and that was their
Yeah.
issue, is like, if it's, like, what is it going forward? Because when I asked about the remote learning a while ago and asked, will it be in place of snow days? I was told absolutely not, we're gonna have the snow days because of the younger kids.
And I still think that's relevant, Carolina. I
So-
don't think it's as much of an issue going remote in the middle school and the high school. I
Right,
think
but
it's
for the
general
elementary
TDS
schools,
kids.
it's tough for the
It's a
parents.
struggle because where the high schoolers and middle schoolers are capable of logging on and tending to themselves for the most part, other than teenage angst, the little ones need a teacher, and that's not the remote teacher, that's mom or dad.
Right.
And so when you're going out on work, to be empathetic, your kid's quarantined for 2 weeks, so you have to go out and be home with your kid. And then you have a snow day, and then you have to take more day off. Parents' jobs are in jeopardy.
Right.
No,
And
listen.
that's a struggle, and not that the school is
understand
a
it.
babysitter, but I am
Well,
saying
we
like,
are the biggest daycare in America.
well, I don't want to refer to our teachers as,
Well, for
Daycare.
the little ones,
But
it
the
comes
little
down
one-
to being the biggest
but it's
daycare provider in the
different,
country.
it's different for a parent on a snow day to send them to Aunt Janie's to play in the snow, watch TV, and be on remote than Aunt Janie, you need to teach Johnny, help him with his remote if he can't log in, if he needs to do his math. Aunt Janie does not want, believe me, Aunt Janie doesn't want to do that.
Right.
Well, I know, I've got Janie's gonna
Are you
kill
laughing at me,
us in June, late June.
But-
We're still going to school.
I
But
don't
some of
think
the
the
parents
younger
don't
parents
mind that.
don't,
The
the
younger
younger
parents
parents
don't
don't
mind
mind
that.
that.
I guess what
And
I
so
And
we
if
have
it's
to
a
find
different-
that balance, I think, between what the younger kids and families can handle, both with their jobs and COVID and snow and everything else, and what the older kids are capable of.
Well, you know what I can do?
So-
I'll put out a questionnaire. I'll put something
Yeah.
out, survey
Because the
money to
other
the
thing is you're
parents.
gonna have a union issue.
And then
So-
What?
you'll
union
get
issue.
feedback on,
If
you
you
know.
have if you have intermediate school and high school teachers teaching remote.
Oh, no, it'd be
No,
all
no,
or
it has to
nothing.
be a
No, it would be
district-wide
The whole thing
decision.
would be
Oh,
shut
it
down.
just-
Yeah, it has to be a district-wide
Okay.
decision.
But I know,
I'm
I
just
know
saying
some of the
impact.
parents of younger
Yeah.
children are getting really stressed because like if it was a snow day, she could have gone to work, you know, they could have gone to work. But with it being remote learning, it was no longer, I could drop you off at your aunt's house or your grandmother's house because they don't understand this whole online learning. So if it's a snow day, you could send the kid to whoever's house and babysit, but when it's online, the parent feels more
What do
responsible.
they do for the districts that are online 3 days a week? Or like New Haven that are online 5
Right,
days a week?
right. Well, I don't, that's
I'm
why
just
I'm.
saying-
We're not gonna please everyone.
but
I think that's
You
the
just- you
struggle
have to-
though.
you
I
have to
think
realize
that's the
that
parenting
over-
struggle, right?
Over
Like,
50% of the schools in Connecticut were hybrid.
Right.
Over 50%.
right, but if you just looked at the most
From
recent articles that are being
September, so
published,
we're-
mothers are now being forced to leave the workforce. So
Right.
working mothers are being
Yeah.
forced to leave the workforce and be stay-at-home moms because of remote learning. And as a woman that has a career, I empathize with those mothers. I absolutely do. I mean,
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I have 2 kids, one who chose to go remote because, you know, he's a little bummed out, and one that has no choice but to be remote. And it's a struggle for me, and I work from home, and I have 2 teenagers, so I can only imagine
Right.
what a 3rd grader and a 2nd grader are doing to a mother that working from home because they can't literally log on. There's no problem solving at all. They're learning to read and write, and they need direction. So while I think older kids can handle that, I don't want mothers to feel stressed, and I don't want their careers to be impacted either because I think women add value to the workforce, and it's becoming a gender issue as well.
Well, I think,
Sorry to have to
but
say that.
it's important to understand that our goal was live teaching.
I get it. I
in
love it.
school.
Right.
And we've had 5 days total.
Right.
Since September 11th, 5. And we notified everyone weeks ago, multiple weeks ago, about this week. because of the tracing and what it was doing
Right.
to my administrative team on the weekends, and we wanted to clear that. So it's not a surprise,
The 3 days weren't the
So,
issue.
you know.
It was the snow day.
Right.
Like honestly,
Everything is
nothing
fabulous.
else was the issue.
Right, it's
Except
the
the snow day.
Because the quarantine and the
Just the snow
sickness you
day.
can't control, but if you know that there's a snow coming
No,
in and a
coming-
snowfall coming in.
Coming into school is,
Right.
it has to be safe.
Right,
No.
and that's not the issue. The issue
Right.
is just where are we going with the snow days? Are we looking at them to, I guess that's the question, are we looking at them to all be remote, or are we looking on it to tack on so parents can plan for snow days? Whether or not to have their grandparents babysit, kids' grandparents babysit, or if they have to stay home to in-school their kid.
Well, how
I
many
think
parents
that's
are we
the question.
talking about? first of all?
I'm gonna, let me survey
That's-
along.
They
Well,
said
that's a
really
big
impacts the
question.
working mothers and
Huh?
TDES and Jerome, so we,
Yeah.
I think
But
it
let
is
me
best to
survey
survey
this.
to get
I'm
numbers.
gonna survey the
Yeah.
ECC
Yeah, it's best to survey so
We
we
can
can
sit here
get
and argue
adequate
till we're blue in
data.
the
Yeah,
face.
I was
Yeah.
surveyed, I thought this was
You
gonna
gotta
be.
get more
Adequate data.
information,
Yeah,
more
exactly.
data.
Do a survey.
Yeah, the survey will
If
give you
five
data
parents throughout the
necessary.
whole community, I mean, we're gonna upset the whole community for five parents who can't make arrangements to say, okay, if we're gonna have a snow day, you're going to aunt so-and-so's or grandma's or grandpa's. I'll be honest with you.
Well, it's on-
My 5-year-old granddaughter gets up in the morning, goes over to the computer, turns that damn thing on herself, gets in front of her teacher for kindergarten, Jerome Harrison, and she does her work, and we pop in now and then to make sure she's all right. Nobody has to sit there and babysit her to do it. She puts her headphones on and she watches the guy on TV, and she does the work.
That's lucky.
So,
Yeah, that is lucky.
That is super
Well,
lucky.
can I say something about virtual learning? Because I have a 5-year-old too. So I just want to say something positive about the virtual learning because minus the snow days and all of that.
Yeah.
I want to commend the teachers because they have done so much more live teaching.
Yeah.
I can't
Oh,
comment too much on
absolutely.
my high schooler because what goes on up there, I don't know.
Oh, he does really well.
But I am there with my son, and he's on that computer with his teacher 2.5 hours in the morning. He takes his lunch and recess. He's on with his specials teacher,
Right.
and is a teacher again like an hour in the afternoon. So I am so impressed with the level of, the online, the in-person teaching that they're doing at home. Of course, in school is so much better, but I'm just so proud of that because I've spoken to other parents, they get maybe 30 minutes like with the teacher on, like in person, 40 minutes maybe, but like we have he's with his teacher all morning in his class. So I had a really good experience with that. Learning to mute, all that stuff is a little difficult for him because he's little, but
Sure.
he's had a wonderful experience, and I just want to commend the teachers. Minus all this other talk, which is valid, but I'm just saying,
Yeah, they're doing a good job.
And they are good.
I am
And that's
impressed.
not to take away from it.
Yeah, and I am
This
very
is-
impressed. And
Keep in mind, this is 1
Yes.
year. This is, we
No,
got
I know.
177 days, or already, how many days
Halfway
into the
through.
school year? So we just need to all be a little more resilient.
And they took that
and
summer,
so-
and they took the summer, and they
Yeah, they
you
did.
guys revamped it because
Yeah.
it wasn't that good in March and
Yeah, it's
April,
all new.
which you weren't prepared for. So I can't,
Right.
there's no criticism there.
No.
They took that summer and they came back, and it's wonderful.
They've done a
So-
great job.
I don't
Good
think we
job.
should be so much worried about a snow day as if the governor
Shuts down.
shuts down. But I'll
Which
tell you
which
what,
could happen.
This here virus, plus the variant coming in, which is a super spreader at 70% faster, he may have to shut down in January. Then what are we gonna do? Because all those parents that you're talking about, there may be more than 5, I'm sure, but the bottom line is, what are they going to do? Now they got
The same thing the other half
Well,
of
then
the city.
we should be
Their
really
job.
worried about our high schools and middle schoolers who are going to be overdosing on drugs and alcohol
I
and
don't-
committing suicide. That's what we should
Okay,
be.
I think we're digressing here.
Alright,
Let's
so
just
we're
get
gonna
back
do a
to
survey.
our,
We're gonna do a survey.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if we
thank
can do
you.
a survey.
All right, so,
I think I'll make a motion to adjourn to executive session as per section 1-225 of the Connecticut General Statutes as permitted by section 1-206A of the Connecticut General Statutes to discuss agenda items 7C, leave requests, and, well, I don't have to do 9A. You want me to read that part anyways? And 9A, negotiations, ratification of the contract between North Branford Board of Ed and Local 1303-382 of the Connecticut Council. Number 4, AFSCME, AFL-CIO cafeteria workers and the contract of the Director of Personnel and Business.
I missed that. Can you repeat that?
I'll second discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Are we gonna stay in here?
We're gonna stay in here.
Yeah.
And we'll wait
Okay.
for the fade.
The next regular board of, oh, sorry. I completely forgot about that.
Madam Chairperson, I'd like to make a motion.
Sorry about that. Yes, you do.
I'd like to move to approve the extension of an unpaid leave request for the speech language pathologist Allison Benelli through February 26, 2021.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. The next regular Board of Education meeting is scheduled for Thursday, January 21st. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Thank you too, Marcy. I know, I told you earlier.